Have you ever felt like your life suddenly turned into a twisted Netflix drama? Like, one day you're just living your normal college life, classes, parties, football practice, and the next, you're watching everything crash and burn around you in slow motion? That was me, just a regular guy, living what I thought was the dream. Until I found out my girlfriend was cheating on me. Not just with anyone, with my dad and my brother. Yeah, both of them. And the worst part? I found out everything on my birthday. My name's Jake. I'm 21, a junior at university in California. I'm on a football team, got a decent GPA, and honestly, I thought I had everything figured out. I was dating Mia, smart, beautiful, the kind of girl who lights up a room without trying. We met during orientation week and just clicked. Within a month, we were inseparable. Mia and I had that perfect couple energy. People told us we looked like something out of a college movie. She came to every game, wore my jersey, brought me snacks while I studied. My parents adored her, especially my dad. My dad's, well, let's say he's not your typical father figure. He's 42, but looks 30. Runs his own business, hits the gym more than I do, always cracking jokes. The kind of guy who walks into a room and owns it. My friends called him the cool dad. Mia? She laughed at his jokes a little too hard. I noticed, but I didn't think much of it back then. Looking back, I should have. It started with little things. My dad texting her memes. Her phone lighting up with Greg at 11 p.m. I asked her once. She said he was helping her with a surprise for me. My dumbass believed it. Why wouldn't I? He was my dad. She was my girlfriend. Then there was my brother, Tyler. He's a year younger, goes to the same school, total opposite of me. Where I'm loud and competitive, he's quiet, artsy, sensitive. Girls liked him, but he always stayed low-key. Mia and Tyler got along great. Maybe too great. One night, I came home for practice and found them watching a movie. Just the two of them. On my couch. She was under a blanket. Tyler looked like a deer in headlights. I asked what was up, and Mia acted like it was nothing. Just killing time, she said. I'll let it go. But the cracks kept showing. She started going on more girls' nights with my mom and dad. I thought it was harmless, until one night she came back to my place late, smelling like a different cologne. I didn't ask who she'd been with. I didn't want to know. I was starting to feel like maybe I was imagining things. That's the thing with trust. Once it's broken, it doesn't scream. It whispers. The real explosion happened on my 22nd birthday. Mia told me she was planning a surprise dinner at my place. She said not to come home until 8. So I stayed out, grabbed drinks with friends, even bought a new shirt. I was hyped. I thought she was planning something romantic. When I walked in, the lights were off. Candles on the table. 2 wine glasses. Music playing softly. And then I heard it. Voices. Hers. And my dad's. Laughing. I walked to the hallway, and I swear, I felt my stomach drop through the floor. There they were. In my bedroom. Door half open. I didn't need to see everything. I heard enough. My dad's voice. Her laugh. My name being whispered. I left. I stood outside in the rain for an hour before Tyler found me. He looked confused, worried. I told him everything. And that's when he froze. He confessed. Mia had slept with him too. I laughed. I actually laughed. The kind of laugh that makes your chest hurt. 3 months. That's how long she had been cheating on me, with both of them. First Tyler. Then my dad. Or maybe the other way around. Honestly, who knows? She told them both she loved them. Said I was too safe. That she wanted someone more exciting. You know what's funny? I didn't cry. Not that night. Not even when I packed her things. Not even when I blocked her, my dad, and my brother. But I haven't looked either of them in the eyes since. People ask me if I've forgiven them. I say I'm fine. But sometimes I still hear her laugh in my head. And all I can think is, what kind of person burns down 3 lives and walks away without a scratch? I didn't expect things to spiral so fast. You'd think that the hardest part would have been the initial shock, the realization that my own flesh and blood had betrayed me. But no, it wasn't the initial sting. The real pain was the aftermath. There were weeks of silence. People acted like nothing happened. Friends sent me texts. Hey man, you good? What's up with you and Mia? They had no idea. No clue. But somehow, it hurt even more knowing that the world could just move on so easily. Then came the confrontation. I had to see them again. My dad, Tyler, Mia. The day after everything blew up, I called Mia. I told her to meet me at the coffee shop down the street. When she arrived, I could see the guilt all over her face. She didn't even try to make excuses. "I don't know what happened," she said quietly, her voice shaking. "It just happened." Her words cut deeper than I expected. How could it just happen? Was she trying to absolve herself by saying that? Did she honestly think I'd believe that? I didn't even respond to her. I just stood up, walked away, and never turned back. But Tyler? He was a different story. He was my brother. We grew up together. And as much as he tried to hide it behind those puppy eyes, I could see the guilt eating at him. He knew what he'd done. He knew he could never make it right. But the worst part was that I still didn't know what to say to him. The silence between us was deafening. It wasn't until a week later that I saw him again. He showed up at my door one night, drunk and with a look of desperation in his eyes. "Jake," he said, stumbling over his words. "I'm so sorry. I never meant to hurt you. I was just confused." "Mia, stop." I cut him off, my voice sharp. "You don't get to use her as an excuse." I slammed the door in his face. Days turned into weeks. I started focusing on myself, taking care of my body, my mind. Football became my escape. The field was the only place where I could push all of it aside and just focus on the game. But I couldn't shake the feeling that something was still broken, that something was permanently lost. He hadn't reached out until now. He wanted to meet. I was furious. I couldn't understand why he would even try to apologize. After everything. But I agreed to meet him, not for him, but for closure. I needed to hear the words. When we sat down, I saw the regret in his eyes. The tears he tried so hard to hold back. "Jake," he began, his voice trembling. "What I did, it was unforgivable. I never meant for it to happen. I've ruined everything. Your life, your trust. I've ruined you." He was right. It was unforgivable. I didn't say anything. I just walked away. I had nothing left to say to him. So here I am now, a year later. I still don't speak to Mia, my dad, or Tyler. The only people who know what really happened are my closest friends. I've kept it that way. But every now and then, I still hear her laugh. I see their faces in my nightmares. And I think about the life we could have had, the life they took from me. And as much as I tell myself I'm fine, I'm not. I may never be, but I'll be damned if I ever let them destroy me. Story 2, I always admired my father. To me, he wasn't just a parent, he was a hero. In his eyes, I saw wisdom, strength, and certainty. Until one day, everything changed. It was supposed to be just another Friday. I had stayed late on campus after my psychology class, finishing up a group project in the library. I decided to grab something quick to eat before heading home. And on a whim, I walked into this small Italian place near the university, a cozy, dim-lit restaurant my mom loved. I never expected to see him there. At first, I thought I was imagining things. My dad, sitting at a corner table, wine glass in hand, smiling. But not at my mom. Across from him sat a woman. Not just any woman, her. My mom's co-worker, Angela. She'd been at our house for dinners, helped plan my mom's 50th birthday party, laughed with us at Christmas. They were leaning in close, laughing, his hand brushing hers, as if it were the most natural thing in the world. And then he kissed her. Lightly, just a second. But it was enough. Enough to set my stomach on fire. Enough to tear everything I believed apart. I ducked behind a pillar and stood there shaking. My dad, my mom, 26 years of marriage. The family I thought I understood, it suddenly felt like a lie. I couldn't confront him. I couldn't even move. I left before they noticed me, barely holding myself together on the way back to the dorm. That night, I didn't sleep. I stared at the ceiling, replaying it all in my head. Their laughter, the way he looked at her like a man in love. And my mom's face kept flashing before me. How she smiled when he made her tea in the mornings. How she looked at him like he was her world. She trusted him blindly. So did I. The next day, I drove home. I told myself I wasn't going to say anything. Maybe it was a mistake. Maybe there was an explanation. I walked in, and there he was sitting on the porch, reading the paper like every other Saturday. I sat down beside him. My hand was shaking. "Dad," I said, "I saw you yesterday. With Angela." He froze. He didn't even try to lie. He just closed his eyes and sighed. Then he said the one thing I never expected. It was a mistake. A one-time thing. One time, the words echoed like a joke. I wanted to believe him. I really did. But it didn't make sense. One time doesn't look like that. One time doesn't hold hands across a table. One time doesn't kiss in public like nothing matters. Does Mom know? I asked. No, he whispered. And she can't. I stared at him. I wasn't looking at my hero anymore. I was looking at a stranger. Do you love her? I asked. No, he said. I love you, Mother. I was stupid. I wanted to scream. I wanted to punch something. But most of all, I wanted him to be the man I believed in again. And he wasn't. I told him I needed time. I left that weekend early and didn't answer his calls. For weeks, I carried the weight alone. I couldn't look at my mom without guilt gnawing at me. I couldn't sit through family dinners without hearing his voice echoing in my head. She can't know. But secrets rot you from the inside. I started pulling away from both of them. My grades slipped. I didn't want to go home anymore. I told myself I was protecting my mom by keeping quiet. But in truth, I was protecting him. And I hated myself for it. Then, 2 months later, it got worse. I came home for Thanksgiving. Everything looked normal on the outside. My mom was busy cooking, my dad was making jokes, my little cousins were running around the house like always. But I noticed something new, a tension in the air. My mom's eyes looked tired. Her smile was forced. That night, after everyone had gone to bed, she came into my room. Can I ask you something? She said. Has your father seemed different to you lately? I felt like I couldn't breathe. Why? I asked, already knowing. I don't know, she said. It's just a feeling. And I found perfume in the back seat of his car last week. It wasn't mine. I sat there frozen. Do you think he's cheating on me? And just like that, the moment I had feared arrived. I wanted to protect her. I wanted to protect the image of our family. But I also couldn't lie. Not anymore. So I told her everything. She didn't cry. Not then. She just looked at me with the saddest smile I'd ever seen and said, "Thank you." That night, I heard them fight for the first time in my life. My mom didn't scream. She didn't throw anything. She just asked questions. And he tried to defend himself, but it was too late. The damage was done. They separated a week later. My dad moved out quietly. There was no drama, no court battle, just silence. Heavy, awful silence. And I haven't looked at him the same since. I don't know if I made the right choice. Sometimes I wonder if I ruined what could have been saved. But I also know this. A man who can lie to the people he loves doesn't deserve their silence. And no matter how perfect someone may seem, secrets always find their way to the surface. Sometimes, being the son of a hero means learning he's just a man. And sometimes, that hurts more than anything if someone you loved and trusted more than anyone else shattered everything you believed about them. Would you tell the truth and risk destroying your family? Or keep the secret and live with the guilt? Let's write in the comments, and don't forget to follow for new American stories from the lives of ordinary people.